Welcome in, welcome in. Yes, I'm glad to have you today. Let's do this. All right, glad to have you in. Howdy, hi, greetings. Yeah, we're here today. I'm recording. This is a lab day for me. I call it lab day because I'm gonna go in, make multiple episodes today. So when you see an episode to an episode and you go, he's wearing the same shirts. No, we probably recorded this episode along with the former episodes when you've seen the shirt and you realize it. This guy is wearing, this is a third straight video with that same shirt. It's probably, if not probably, I was recording and with that same shirt on these episodes on the same day. That's what I do. I don't record individually and then put it out. I go into have a lab, what I call lab days when I'm going in, making anywhere from 3 to above, usually 3 to 4 to 5 at the most, usually videos I will make to cover for the next week and a half, depending, because usually I have a format, if you haven't noticed, for you guys who watch all the time and who are members here. I have a format. No, my format is actually I usually put 2 videos out, day off, then 2 videos, day off. So you're looking at 2 on, 1 off, 2 1, and that's how I repeat it to let it breathe with the 1 off a little bit, and then let people catch those other 2 videos and harness them to get them out so they can get it. Because most of my videos, like I said, I'm always going to lead you to the next thing. I'm always putting out cracker crumbs. So you can say, oh yeah, this does connect to the previous video, because it will always do that. And I always plan to do that because I want it to be fitting, and also teach decoding for those who are new, that something is setting something up. This is when you start having pattern recognition, you start decoding the matrix, because the recognition of the patterns are there, which are codes. That's why we're taking the codes and we're decoding them. And so we can see what's really the message, or what's really happening behind that. What's what where are we pushing to? What's leading to the next thing? And even in understanding, something leads to something else. Like I said, if you go back and you look at some of my videos a year ago, roughly around a year ago, to even maybe a year and 15, 16 months, you're going to see me talking about holding space. I mentioned holding space quite often. It was something I was experiencing. I was told by my higher self to do. Well, it wasn't till when I really started understanding it. It wasn't given to me immediately. That word was given to me, but did I understand it fully? No. I had to experience in what it meant. And now, roughly a year later, it's came really clear what it meant. Like I would say, another term I would use was, you have to get light to get light. And then I go into English, because we're really heavily on words here and etymology, how we have the L-I-G-H-T and the L-I-T-E, right? And when I said you need to get light, and I used the example back then, was like if you had a passenger plane and they said you can only have, everybody needs to bring yay amount of poundage to put on the plane so we don't get too heavy. We need less to be light so we can fly, right? At optimal split speed and safety. That you don't want to be over heavy. So when I say for us to get light so we can take off into higher realms, we got to get light. It's not really necessarily about losing weight, which is not a bad thing if you're heavy, or you may need to be. I'll even say I'm going to lose a few, because I've gained a few back from where I was even less than a year ago, because I had made this effort of hard work to get to a certain weight, which I was able to do. And it was a weight that was not much more than I did in high school, how much I weighed. And I was really it showed me my willpower when I put my mind to doing something, because a lot of times the very thing we're trying to accomplish is the very thing that will beset us, because it's usually a difficult task that we need to overcome. I've said this many times with certain people that I know. It's like, I'm not totally against drinking alcohol, folks. Anybody here, if you have a drink or whatever, that's cool. I know people who have enlightenment, though, have alcohol problems, and the alcohol problems doesn't allow for advancement in their life because they're not taking on the very thing that beseats them and defeat it. And that would be whatever it is for you or me. It could be something different. It's just the fact. And that's why I say getting light would mean actually getting rid of more mental, emotional, and physical attachments. The more you unattach and get rid of attachments, the more light you get. So you get light, if I may say so myself. So that's really when you start looking to. So going back to what I was seeing was that I needed to save space. I was going into different spaces. I needed to declare that I had visited, experienced, and been to, and then I needed to save a space for me. And what I started realizing as I saved space in the more clarity I was getting was that getting rid of the attachments was allowing me to go higher. And then saving the space allowed me to understand my where I was at wasn't necessarily a place of visitation. It was now becoming a place that I had saved space, which then expanded in that place. And that was like I put my signature frequency, energetic field frequency there. And it no longer was not necessarily a visitor, but I was aware and participated with that space as if I belonged. So, yeah. So not always everything's revealed to you at once by your higher self. Sometimes you have to walk into the wisdom and understanding of it. And sometimes you get stuff right away and you know that you know that you know, like a revelation or a revealing. It's like, woo, right there, that you know, and you know why you know it. Or you may not say, I don't know how it is. Many times I've had that. And then what happened later was then the evidence would come forth. Somebody had told me that you need to prove things, and I was thinking that I couldn't share this with them because they're not ready to receive it because their mind was closed, right? Their mind was closed into there's no reason to share, because I've really learned the hard way, which I mentioned on recent videos. You can't give initiated information to them who have not been initiated. I had to learn the hard way. That's how it really works. That's why this process was like it. I can't give a certain energetic frequency of a revelation or an understanding or a truth to somebody who can't match that frequency. It's impossible. It doesn't work. Their frequency can't match it, and their initiation. These are the two examples that really taught me, was the frequency part and the initiated part, that I'm trying to share initiated knowledge with them that aren't initiated. It doesn't work. And that's why they would have these. Not all secret societies were created for evil, that we all kind of look back and now we said, oh, these folks, and you get my Tokyo drift. Yeah. But some hid it from these kind of folks to hide it from them, if you get what I mean, especially when you're talking, the Gnostics had to hide and dig and put underground because, the so-called, yaps from Ohm, at R to Ohm, you know what I mean, were trying to destroy them and kill them and didn't want their information out because it would flip the indoctrinated stuff they would push on people. So they hid it in places. Some of it was found in 1946, 47. The Nag Hammadi was found then, right? If I might not be pronounced it, but I actually have it. The hidden scriptures, the Gnostic hidden scriptures, was found. And actually that group that I'm talking about now wanted to buy it from the finders, and the finders, glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Awesome that you didn't, that you went out and put it out and allowed it to be published, because the place I'm talking about, Ohm with an R, wanted to buy it because they were wondering what's in there that's going to reveal more truth. But maybe we don't know that they're going to bring us up as a historic in what we were doing, because they're trying to hide stuff. But this is disclosures here and revelation knowledge here, and we see it clearly. We see you clearly, those who have. What we may not see is some other things, but this is not, I'm going off the cuff, and this is not an off the cuff. I told you I was going to do it, and we're going to start today. We are going to go through a series that I did, God, a year and a half, 2 years ago. But this will be an updated version with a little bit more understanding on my point, a revisitation of the Claras. We're going to meet the Claras, and we're starting today. All right. So let me share. I got some sharing to do. We're going to do a series on this, okay? This is going to be a series. All right, this is going to be a series. We are not going to do all these. We're going to go over them, but we're not going to do all these today. We're going to go one at a time. And we're going to start with clairvoyance. But notice this, we have clairvoyance, clairseeing, clairaudience, clear hearing, claircognizance, clear knowing, clear intellect. See, when I did this, these two definitely were not part of it. I did 6, and this looks like they have now more up here. We'll do them all. I have not. The clear intellect and the clear empathy, definitely will add. These two were not a part of when I did my clairs. I have actually, this is the first time I've really seen it. I've looked at this chart because that's why I saved this chart. I found this chart and downloaded it on my laptop. But these first two, the clear intellect and clear empathy, I've never, clear sentience, definitely. Clear tagnacy, clear touching, I could see there. Clear, and that may be one I have not seen before, is this one. This may be why there's 9. This is the third one I don't know, is the clear touch, which would be tangential, tangible, clear tangency. That's probably how it's said. Clear silence. I may not be pronouncing it right. I was hoping there was a little thing I could press and get a pronunciation, but I knew about that. That's a smell. When you turn smell into knowing, and this is where this comes from. Clear tasting, definitely knew about that. We're going to start with this one today. We're going to go into the clairvoyance. Maybe, can we get the, let me see. And this is my plan to do one at a time. So this is going to be a series. And right now I'm thinking with the way this is, maybe I should do 2. And then if I did that, that'd be me doing this right here live or on my recording, because it's not a live recording. It's not live on, YouTube or anything. But, my thought on maybe doing multiples, maybe do 2 at a time, gets us through almost 4 to 5, because there's 9. Or 3 at a time gets us 3 episodes. So I was going to do 9 episodes seems like a lot. Maybe we'll do this by 2s. As I look at this chart, I just glanced at this chart. I really didn't look at it. And like I said, I see 3 new ones that I was not ever familiar with, but that's cool. I'm open to it. If changes come, and this is how I am, and this has been the development of me. When I find greater truth at the end, and I felt something was, but then something new comes and kind of replaces something that wasn't before, that I did not know, I'm open to it, because that's just kind of how I've aligned myself. If there's more or a correction and there's adding more, I'm okay to be corrected and receive the more if there's more to be added, and replace a truth that I thought. But then as you grow, you find there's a higher truth to it, another perspective. And if that old perspective is completely wrong, or just a lower value of what something maybe was taught old in another dispensation in a different age, that wasn't really in this age, it changed because it's different. The frequency, vibration and stuff may be different, right? And more is being revealed, because we're always looking to be more, right? Those who are on that path. And shout out to all you newbies who are open, that are here. I think some of them, definitely some great members here that keep sharing stuff with me, and like word of the days, and different things and truths. Because if I don't know something, I have no problem telling you I don't know. I don't, personally, for me, I don't go look at something and say, oh, that's a struggle for me to change because I believe this. For me, it's always letting something go has became easier for me because of the processing I've went through over the years, the decades. I'm always looking for the more truth. If something makes more sense and it establishes and expands, because we're always looking for expansion. See, creation didn't just happen already. Creation is continually happening even now. And I think that's when we understand what the now, the present, and past is. We always want to keep it linear. It's not linear. It's a loop. That's why we'll get the remix of the same things by our looping. Looping can be, there's a higher side to looping and a lower side to looping. But anyways, we're here for the claris. So let's go ahead and do 2. I'm going to make that choice now. We're going to do clairvoyance, and what's after clairvoyance? Let me see. Probably empathy, which definitely, no. Clairaudience. So that's cool. We're going to do clairvoyance, clairaudience today in episode 1. Okay. Clairvoyance or clairseeing is the most visual of all the clairs. Notice it, keep that in mind, it's the most visual. You're a visual seeing. You receive pictures in the form of images in your mind. The may be vivid. Dreams, visions, mental images, many movies. You may be able to see colors, auras, etc. Images may be literal or metaphorical. You may incline towards the clair if you are a visual person, and often visual solutions to problems may be good at directions or visual spatial problems. I'm going to say this for one thing. For a long time, I've had this. There's a few of these that I've experienced. And if you have, this is the kind of stuff that we need to be activated to. This gets into our ESPs, our extrasensory perceptions, right? Back in the day, me being an older gentleman, sometimes I'm a gentleman, just joking. You can definitely, I do have some old school ways about me though, about certain things. But anyways, and that's just morally and mentally and in how I am in certain physical makeups, but I'm open for more. Clairvoyance is something I've had, experienced for a long time. I do get vivid images, I do get dreams, I do get a lot of what's said here, the vivid dreams, mental images, many movies, you may be able to see colors, etc., or even have these be literal or metaphorical. And they will give you answers towards things that you either need to know, which are usually solutions. Like I'm one big person in recognizing that when we look at this and we come out of inversion, that the problem isn't before the solution. Actually, it's the opposite. The solution's always there before the problem. And even notice the two terms solution and problem in here are actually even mathematics, because you have a solution to a problem, and then there's different kinds of math to find the solution, but the solution's first. And let me break down the word of problem, which is math. Solution is even soul, loosh, un. Remember we did a video on loosh, soul, energy, connection with a T-I-O-N, ions. The solution has to be first because the solution's connected to nature. The solution's connected to the soul, solution, and that's even a word for what? The sun in Spanish. Soul, S-O-L, is sun in Spanish. It's also S-O-L is soul, lucian. There's a soul loosh energy, which is that dark energy of creativity, and the loosh. Go back and check our videos about loosh and how loosh is harvested from us, that past videos, right? But the solution is an ion of energy that you're able to see the solution really captivates and is way more holding space than the problem's temporal. That's why when we see problems, there's always a solution. But you have to understand this. When you attack problems, we usually in our natural are going to do what? We're going to look at problems as being big, and we have to find the solution because it's hiding from us. But really the solution's the big and the problem's the small. You just got to open your clairvoyance. And then the clairvoyant ones start seeing images, and their sight brings them the solution or the revelation or the understanding or the next move or direction that you would need in what you're doing, or plans of creativity or business or whatever you're doing, or problem. Remember, the solution is going to end very much. The clairvoyance is a car, an avenue given to you that you just need to activate within you. This would be your ESP. This is when you're activating to become more the superhuman or the demigod. This is why we're here. We're here to break patterns. We dive deep from the all-knowing states of oneness and unity to deep and descend deep and become fractured as we go into the deep 3D density. We see a lot of problems that we never face, that you don't face unless you come into this area arena. That's why God had to come down or experience himself for each and every one of you. Why? Because to be all, you have to experience all. And he wasn't experiencing density until the density came available into the 3D. And then it wrapped itself in you, me, this light, having the experience in a density that makes you feel like you don't have a chance at time, right? When you don't know, you don't know. That's the losing. But activating these things like clairvoyance is there. They're available to you. Nobody's special. Some may do other things that we're going to go over because we've seen there's 9 clairs. When I taught last time, I taught 6. I'm open to doing the other 3. Very much open to it. I'm not going to run from it and say, that's not what I thought. That's not what, because we're not dealing with indoctrination. We're dealing with continual expansion, and knowledge is going to expand to another degree. Will give you another perspective. So clairvoyance, something you can have access to. And if many of you are here and know it, high five. How many have experienced it? Put it in your comments. Experienced it or experienced any of these. The clairvoyance. Next, clairaudience. I like, and these ones, like this one went into the problems, the clear seeing. So it's called clairvoyance, clear seeing. There's a clearness, and this is what's happening with you raising your consciousness going up. You were becoming clear. One of the things why you say, D-Boy, Danny's always harping on us, getting West Coast and Center, getting discernment. Yeah, discernment gives you clarity. You need discernment to be there. To discern things gives you directions too. So clairvoyance is a type of discernment. It's connected to it. It's connected. It's the caboose to the train. It's the car. It's the trunk to the car. It's the back seat to the car. It's for the ride to help. So clairaudience. Clairaudience is a clear hearing. You're able to hear voices or messages from the spiritual realms, from different degrees, from different dimensions. You're able to get direct. You're able to hear your spirit. You're able to hear yours. You're able to hear your spirit guides. You're able to hear your higher self. You're starting to distinguish through the clairaudience. The ear. The other one, remember, was the eyes, the ears. I told you this is all connected even into your senses, but these are the amplified of senses when you go higher, that now they're amplified because you've connected your right and left hemisphere. Now your logic and your senses now can operate in the middle, co-oping with each other instead of being a division to see who's in warfare, to see who's elite of each other. Like I said, now we're seeing that the hearing is going to a different space of hearing. You're hearing with those spiritual ears turned on now. And this is a way that it can come to you from the spiritual realms. You may hear them in your ears or your mouth of God chakra, right? Example, you may be driving and suddenly you hear left turn, even though you're only one in the car. this experience of hearing your higher self, and the clairaudience is giving you direction. There's a reason for a left turn. Have you experienced this? This example here is what woke me up and changed my life, because I heard this twice and I ignored it the first time back in 1993. Yes. And when it told me to take a U-turn, make a left and make a U-turn, it gave me direct, and this is what changed me. This is that incidence of what this took me to was the beginning of me awakening and changing. And this was 1990, 92, 93. But I do have this too. This is definitely, the first two I operate, definitely always have been connected to me for, God, 25, 30, almost since that time that I'm speaking. But even before, I remember times it happened, but it would be like far and in between. Now it's something that I expect and want to know and use daily when I'm in my right mind and not caught up in stuff. And we can get our mind off something, but we always got to bring it back. The only thing we gets lost here, and this is what it is, our lost is we're stuck in density. We are stuck in matter. And when we get overthinking of being stuck in matter, we may not hear this, but this is options you hear if you have experienced this. This is a great experiences. These are opening up, you're becoming so one inside that your ESP and your different aspects of yourself are being opened for usage by you. Where the mainstream and most of the masses don't get it. This stuff is really available to everybody, but you have to go through initiation periods usually. And sometimes you bring it over from the other side. A lot of this you're bringing over from the past. If you can put the past as the past and understand that, like I said before, we always talk about past lives. What about future lives? Your higher self is your future self. And it uses this a lot to cognate, to get this message to you. Let me see, clairsenses. And we'll go into the next one. We'll do claircognizance and clairintellect. I know a little bit about cognizance. The intellect's new to me, so I'll be looking forward to that. That will be our next video. All right. What I want to do is, let's do this. I'm going to make sure I do this right, because if I don't do it right, it will mess up my recording, I found out. Now, there you go. It might have been me doing it without glasses and can't see. But yeah, so this is our very first. So we did clairvoyance, clairaudience. Seeing and hearing aspects expanded cognitively as you've raised your consciousness to be aware. Now these are getting activated. They're getting activated. There's activation going on. And these are your gifts to be activated that we need to realize we have these. Ask your higher self to help you open them. If you feel that or do you open it and not obey it? And then it comes again, and you kind of, because a lot of times people are scared of this stuff, right? Depends on where you are. It's the newbies I could see. I've talked to some of the newer people that I know of who actually have prayed for this stuff not to be connected to them, because they're in fear, when that's kind of like something you would not want when you're in clairsense. This is something that's given to you for your advantageous of your growth, not to be a hindrance to you. Next level, right? And then for those here that are participating here, you know where we're at. If you're new and you're not, and this stuff's deep, go back and listen to former videos. There's people that send me messages. You can hit me up on D-Boy, West Coast Uncensored. You'll see it as, let me even put it out. Let me make sure what it's called exactly before we end this segment. It's D-Boy WCU all together, nothing spread, just D-Boy WCU Instagram. That's a good place to hit me up on. Or send me a message here that go in the comments. I'm going to give you another one here. I'm going to give you my D-Boy, West Coast Uncensored. And they're separated. D, it's little space boy, little space, West Coast Uncensored. That's my, and it would be that, but it's going to be April.Danny1962 @gmail. Again, April.Danny1962 @gmail. And it's connected to West Coast, D-Boy, West Coast Uncensored, West Coast Uncensored Instagram. Boom. Those are some of the, that's kind of the places to get to me, plus the comments here on YouTube and also Rumble. Hit me up on Rumble too, and leave comments and leave emails, leave any messages you want, questions. And I'm going to be honest here, this channel is not going to put up with people as we grow coming on and wanting to start guff. Guff's not allowed. If this is not for you, if you think you're going to come on and bring dogma of traditional, we pass that. The dogma doesn't fly here. These are people who are new and learning and want revelation, and they having the experience and like what they hear, and they want to soar and they want to learn. And those who are established and already kind of established there, but want to still exceed and grow and be part of the community. But bringing religious stuff in and thinking you're going to put a flag, that ain't flying here. This is not for the religious. This is not go to the first church of the exoteric is just down the street from you. We're not exoteric here. We're esoteric. We're debunking and demystifying the mysteries. This is what we're about. So anybody willing, coming from that, I came from that. Open door. But anybody coming to indoctrinate, I won't put up with it. You'll be aced real quick. Just being honest. I'm not going to play that. This is where you'll see the other side of me. I'm just not going to play on this platform. This platform is for them who are waking up. Also be aware, the more and more you grow on this and put things out, that's why you're going to have a lot of times the people come on that are we call them trolling, are actually sent and paid trying to infiltrate. It happens all the time, but my discernment's good. Even if they're agents, I'll see you. We're not here for that. But I know that at this time, we don't overly have it. And if some people just come in just like they see it as something, they go, oh, I like that, but, put in some kind of dogma doctrine thing, not going to go off on you as long as you're not starting guff. Once guff comes, you're gone. But this isn't going to be the place for indoctrination, doing the backwards dance into religion. It's not happening here. So you guys, with all the love and compassion, wakies that are waking up, and I don't mean fake woke politically, I'm talking about the real deal. Have a great day. And this was our first lesson, right? Clairaudience and clairvoyance. You guys have a great day.